was a very slow process for me to find my current niche. And that niche is both process and quality based. So the first thing I did is I said, okay, I'm done with QBO, not doing it. I'm going all in on Xero. And that was a really, really good first step for me.
Hello, Blake Oliver here, and this is Gearing Up, a series by Relay. Relay is business banking designed for accountants and their clients. Just like me, they're obsessed with making firms more effective and efficient. So in each episode, I talk to real accountants and bookkeepers about one challenge they faced in their firm and how to solve it. Joining me today is Morgaine Trine of Honestly Bookkeeping. Morgaine, great to have you on the show.
I am so excited to be here.
Tell me about your firm, yourself. Where are you at? What's it like?
So I run Honestly Bookkeeping. I started it about 5 years ago, and we help small businesses to stabilize, strengthen, and sustain their finances. We have about 30 clients right now. That number is a moving target at the moment, as is the number of team members, which is currently 4 plus me. And in terms of the types of services we provide, it really is a range, besides the basic bookkeeping work. Some clients we're doing accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll processing, sales tax management, and then advising a lot on processes and addressing, specific concerns that various clients have.
I'm sure you're doing a lot of different things, and you've got technology to solve for all those different things. Give me an overview of your tech stack.
Yeah. So we'll get into this a little bit in more depth later, but we're a Xero-only firm. So everyone is on Xero for bookkeeping, using Relay for banking, using Gusto for payroll processing. For various contractor payments, we use Veeam, which I absolutely love, and that's been wonderful to find. And then Lisio for client communications, Loom for client and team communications. I know that you've had some past people talk about both of those softwares already. And then for sales tax management, TaxJar.
So what's the challenge that we're here to talk about today?
Yeah, definitely. So the challenge is around niching down and industry. So when I first started, I did Ben Robinson's Bookkeeper Business Launch in order to learn how to do bookkeeping and start my own firm. And both within that course and then other general business groups and courses that I was in, there's this big push on niching down, right? Like find your niche. And I was having like a big struggle with that because I didn't come from a background where I had 10 years as a vet tech, and it would make sense to do a, vet only bookkeeping firm. So I just sort of picked a niche, and that was online female entrepreneurs because, I'm a woman and I'm online. It's a virtual firm. I thought, okay, that'll be easy. But there's this just really big disconnect because even though I had picked this industry, I didn't really understand the challenges and the type of support you really needed there. And the advantage of niching is you get a really in-depth understanding of that specific niche. You have a really broad depth of knowledge for that. And then you're able to, market more effectively and just be more effective in all of your operations as well. And I just had this struggle with really finding an industry that I could niche in. And, that resulted in, ineffective marketing and not being able to really develop my expertise in one particular area. So that was sort of the challenge there. And the other challenge is I didn't want to just be a generalist because it felt like going against really, solid logic and best practices in terms of niching.
So you chose to niche not in a particular industry, but more in a type of customer or client.
Exactly, exactly. So, it was a very slow process for me to find my current niche. And that niche is both process and quality based. So the first thing I did is I said, okay, I'm done with QBO, not doing it. I'm going all in on Xero. And that was a really, really good first step for me because I absolutely love Xero. And the types of clients I was finding who were already on Xero, we were just really clicking. And I was like, okay, there's something here. Let me, follow it. And the more that I did that, the more that I realized that there's these really important qualities that people who were already on Xero had, and or the people that I were able to convert over to Xero also exhibited those qualities. So the first thing is that they were all very process driven. And that really fits well with me and the team I've built. And so that's sort of one of those qualities that I looked for in new clients is, are you the type of person that enjoys processes and sort of the expectations that gets involved with being process first?
How do you identify the clients that are into process, that like process versus those that don't?
Definitely. So I do a discovery call before every engagement just to, gather the scope of what that project entails and sort of these more quality and characteristic basis for the client. And so, I just have a set of questions that I ask during that to get that sense. So that was the first one is being process forward. The other thing that I found is that clients who had multiple businesses, we tended to get along great. And that's because if you have multiple businesses, you can't afford to muck up the works. Like if you only have one business, sometimes you can get to the point where you're trying to hold on to control too much. And so people with multiple businesses, I found, tended to, again, be very process driven and like efficiencies. And so that was sort of the second thing that I noticed is that people who liked things being efficient, really also again enjoyed processes and worked really well with me and the firm. And so sort of all of that together allowed me to realize that niching by process is how I really wanted to niche down. And so that really involves, the tech stack that I mentioned before. All of those integrate really, really well. And so we know, like if it's an e-commerce client, here's the software we're going to use to help manage the sales tax, the store platform, how all of that then integrates with Xero. And so we have all of that laid out, so if someone comes and is an e-commerce client, we can say this is the process, this is how it's going to work. And so people who come and say, hey, I don't really want to make big changes, we know that that's not going to be the right client. Because we're wanting to make things work, in a specific way so that everyone knows what the expectations are, and, we can meet those and then exceed them.
So, Morgan, what are the benefits of niching down in this way?
Yeah. So, besides the general benefits of niching that I already talked about, what I found is that it's brought me a lot more clients who are tech forward, which, really fits with the virtual nature of the firm, but it also allows me to work with clients who are creating really interesting custom solutions. One of the things I love about Xero is it does have that open API. So I have a number of clients who have created custom softwares that then can integrate directly with Xero. And so, some of those are like custom invoicing softwares. One client has developed a custom EPR software, and so I'm able to really niche with that. And that specific client sells the EPR software as its own SaaS subscription. And I'm right now the exclusive partner for implementing that on the accounting side of things. So that's been really awesome. benefit of niching this way. And it also helps facilitate conversations about how best to make systems work. And so it has allowed clients to come to me to say, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And we're able to really create like a custom solution for them sort of as needed.
Got it. So they've got the technical expertise to build the integration, and you help them figure out how to do it in a way that works with the bookkeeping, the accounting.
Exactly. And like dream goal would someday have like a developer in-house who could, do a whole bunch of custom stuff for clients. But right now that is, the client comes with some sort of developer. And then I'm able to advise on best practices and, here's the information we really need. And it allows it to be more efficient on their end too, because it's not just, the developer creating something without thought to how it's going to be used on the finance end of things. So it cuts down on that back and forth as well.
Well, I hope we get a bunch of developers watching this, because that's one of the biggest problems with integrations. And what I see on the App Store is developers will build an integration, but they don't really think about the bookkeeping implications. And then reconciling the transactions is so much more manual than it has to be.
Exactly. And I've gotten very direct with my feedback for certain integrations in terms of being like, this isn't working. Here's why. Here's how you need to change it. And I've been able to successfully get a couple of integrations to make those changes, which has been awesome, because it doesn't benefit just me and my clients, but everyone who's using that service.
Well, thank you on behalf of the Xero community for your service in that regard. So, what are your goals for the future? Are you happy where you're at? Do you plan to grow?
Yeah, I'm definitely in a growth phase right now. And want to keep developing this and honing in on this specific niche. And one of the things that I'm currently working on that is going to be out by the time this airs is a 3-minute podcast, which is going to be sort of part soapbox, part behind the scenes, and part like industry knowledge to sort of allow business owners a peek behind the curtain, because I find that they're typically still pretty in the dark about all of what goes into running a bookkeeping company and bookkeeping in general.
And what is that podcast called? Where can I search for it?
Yeah, so that's called Follow the Bookkeeper. And the best place to get information on that is going to be my website, which is honestlybookkeeping.com, as well as our Instagram channel, which is @honestlybookkeeping.
All right. Well, I look forward to listening to that. Thank you so much, Morgan, for your time today.
I really appreciated this, Blake. This was wonderful. Thank you.